What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition of the Backstage Slam Wrestling Podcast. Joining me again this week for another banging episode of the Backstage Slam is Kevin, and this is episode number 219. What's up?
What up?
Plenty of stuff dropping today in the world of pro wrestling. But before we get to the more recent nitty gritty, we're gonna talk some New Japan like we promised last week. And Kevin, what do we got going on for the future of New Japan Pro Wrestling?
A lot went down Saturday morning.
Awesome.
Just a couple of things to touch up on. Mainly, the card was great. I enjoyed the card. Should we just go really quick on the key points from that event, or should I go match by match? I mean, there's only like 6 of them.
Let's see. If you're crunched on time, you can go as quickly as you want. If you got all the time in the world, we can just go comfortably up to you.
Oh, okay.
I've only been awake for 5 hours. You know me, man. I sleep as soon as the sun comes up.
I can't do that no more. I'm getting old. All right, so we'll start at the first match. So the first match at Power Struggle was Toru Yano versus Zack Sabre Jr. for the provisional King of Pro Wrestling, and the stipulation was a no corner pad match. Now, this match was what I expected from Toru Yano. Very entertaining, very mischievous, and needless to say, it delivered as far as Yano Toru's or Toru Yano's participation. Needless to say, he won by tying Zack Sabre Jr.'s shoelaces together in the guardrail. So
has he done that before? I can't remember.
Huh?
Has he done that before with the shoelaces? I can't remember. Because
I can't remember either, because he's normally using athletic tape.
Yeah. Because I was like, he's going to find a way to creatively subdue. Remember? Oh.
But yeah, but it was so one of those little things that just added up to it. So like you could see him every time he got tied up from Zack Sabre Jr.'s stretches, he would nitpick at his shoes every chance, like just really small, like lift up the kick pad from under his shoe and then untie one part of the shoelace. And then when he got sent to the outside, he undid the other side and tied them together. I was like, there went one prediction. So I'm like, what a way for Toru Yano to win. So that's what happened in the first match. The second match, Minoru Suzuki versus Shingo Takagi for the never open weight title.
I think this was my favorite match on the entire card.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it was hard hitting.
I did not watch the Naito Evil match at all, though, because I don't know. When Naito's holding those belts, whenever I don't watch him, he ends up losing. And when I don't watch his match, he ends up winning. So, yeah, I was like, I have this curse. Since 2014, every time I watch a Naito match from the beginning to the end, he ends up losing. And then when I start watching the match and I stop halfway, he ends up winning. So I just like, from now on, I'm just going to watch his matches on a delayed basis, which I haven't gotten to yet, so.
Yeah. But yeah. Let's see. Takagi ends up dethroning Suzuki for the never open weight title, which I did not see happening. But he muscled him up for Last of the Dragon, even though he attacked his back heavily.
Yeah. You know what? I have a feeling that they might build Jeff Cobb up for that belt and have a thing with Shingo.
I mean, he's won it before.
Yep.
So, I mean, that would be nice for Jeff Cobb to be a never open weight constant, you know?
Yeah. Throw in Hiroki Goto in there as well.
That guy, he's synonymous with the never open weight title as much as Shibata.
Yeah.
I mean, between Goto and Shibata, I mean, I think they've held that title the most.
Maybe Goto, maybe we should see like a one and done deal where they build up Goto and he challenges for the IWGP Heavyweight title just once. I think that would be cool.
I want Ishii to challenge for the heavyweight title at least once.
Yeah. Ishii and Goto is like just clutch.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
They always put on. For me, those two are the prototypical guys. Like even more than Okada, the word strong style is.
Yeah.
I like. Oh, it's Ishii and Goto for me, and Shibata.
Yeah, they have like no nonsense, just balls to the wall type. They just go at it all out. So, and that's what I like about that. All right, moving on. We got Kazuchika Okada versus the Great Okan. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of Okada using the money clip as a finisher. I don't know why he's not using the Rainmaker. I would like to see him use the Rainmaker. But he's pretty much beating everybody that's smaller, quote unquote, or weaker with the money clip.
I think it's a message, like a little story seed saying he's like, "Hey Osprey, I don't need to use my big move to beat you. I can just use this one."
Yeah. He pretty much, aside from Suzuki and I believe Jeff Cobb in the G1, he's made everybody sleep or tap to the money clip.
So you're tired of him using that move, right?
I am sick and tired of it already.
I am sick and tired of him being in New Japan. Like, hey, come to the States, bro. Everybody loves you.
So, but interesting enough, after Okada wins, Osprey gets into the ring and challenges Okada to a match at Wrestle Kingdom. Now he went on to say that he wanted to end Okada's career at Wrestle Kingdom. Now, I don't know if that's seeds being planted or if that's just him calling out Okada for him to accept the match. So I'm kind of.
Is it just me, or does Osprey look like he's on a rice diet?
I don't know. Boy put on like 20 pounds.
Yeah, he's looking like Omega except it's not a gym body. It's you know.
I mean, I follow him on his Instagram.
And,
yeah, but he's packed on a lot of weight. A lot of muscle too.
Yeah.
So
heavyweight? Oh man, shit.
I mean, good for him. I mean, quarantine. But here's the thing, though. If Okada, so the match is made official. I don't know whether they haven't stated whether his Rev Pro British Heavyweight title is on the line or if Okada's career is on the line. But so far, it's just a special single match.
Yeah, get plenty of time.
So with that, my prediction for that one not a prediction, but my thought process is they go to Wrestle Kingdom. I'm gonna think Ospreay's gonna win with the help of another member joining the Empire, or someone from Inside Chaos. So that's my thought.
What if it ends up being Yano?
I'm thinking Ishii.
Ooh. Oh man, that's a program between Ishii and Goto then right there.
Yeah.
Oh, which is a bonus. Heck yeah.
So that's my take on that.
Yeah.
All right, next match. I believe it is Kenta versus Tanahashi for the United States heavyweight contract.
I got thoughts about this, but
you got thoughts about this one?
I'll wait.
The match is just the way I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
The little, I mean, it was a hard fought match. I mean, the funny takeaway from that is Kenta messing up Tanahashi's hair, which my girlfriend, adores. She adores Tanahashi's hairdo, so it was quite the sight. But yeah, not Naito, but Kenta having verbally submit Tanahashi to the game over. Now that was something. That was something to make Tanahashi verbally submit, not tap out, but verbally submit.
Yeah. So
that's gotta. No, go ahead.
So he and Miro have the same name for their finishing moves, which are different.
Technically, because then, I mean, unless he goes game over or game over. So that's just, nitpicking, but yeah.
So I have a thought on this. It got me thinking. Mox has to go to Japan and quarantine for 20 days if he ends up defending the title at Wrestle Kingdom, right?
It's 20 days?
I think so. Because I know everywhere else it's 14, right?
As far as I know.
But I guess they're taking special care or something.
Yeah, 20 days.
Yeah, but it's like, if I don't see him going to Japan as also the AEW champion, so I kind of get the feeling like they're going to be putting their first of 2 special Dynamite shows next month, because Revolution is literally, if they had put it 1 week later, it would have been a 4-month wait.
Yeah.
And it'll be the first time ever where they don't have a pay-per-view every 3 months. So since the wait is like so long, 3 months and 3 weeks for Revolution, I don't see them putting off Kenny's, title win that long. And AEW just lost Bash at the Beach, the title. I mean, the naming rights for Bash at the Beach.
Oh, yeah.
So they're just going with a Beach Bash, and I think that's probably going to be hosted by Orange Cassidy or Orange Cassidy themed show, because that's also the name of one of his finishing moves.
Oh, the Beach Break?
Yeah, not Beach Bash, Beach Break. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Bash at the Beach. But so I'm thinking Mox may lose the title between now and December, and I think it'll be a good way. I think it'll be good if they actually have a AEW title change on TV. I think it'll be a big boon, because so far the title has only switched hands at pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And that way they can actually use Kenny earlier than proposed.
Mm-hmm.
And then Moxley can actually take an extended Japan tour if he wanted to, if they're going to plan for him to retain against Kenta, if they end up doing that match
Yeah.
there. But if they're going to wait till, I don't know, uh, Sakura Genesis, which is what, usually in February, then
Yeah.
then I don't know, because Revolution is also in February. So that's just my thoughts on that. There's a possibility that they could take the belt off of Moxley, and
Mm-hmm.
then have him go and do Japan for a while. He can do Wrestle Kingdom. He can also do the New Year's tour.
On the New Year's Dash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sakura Genesis and all that stuff.
Yeah, I could see that happening, but I really think Kenta's gonna win the U.S. title. But that's just bias. That's an unbiased opinion.
This is why I said, like, it might not be a good look. It
Mm-hmm.
might just be the mark in me.
Mm-hmm.
If he's the AEW champion but lost a lesser title to Kenta.
Yeah. Well, it puts another title in play for New Japan, because I mean, it's just the U.S. title is like almost forgotten.
Plus, too, I think the charm with Moxley being champion, it's starting to wane a little bit,
Mm.
and it's not his fault. It really isn't his fault. So I think it would be a good time to actually take the belt off of Mox before January rolls around, and I'm thinking do it on TNT on a special Dynamite, whatever their event's gonna be.
Yeah, yeah.
Shock
I mean,
TV, big ratings, definitely.
gotta have like a Christmas or Thanksgiving, Christmas special or something.
Yeah.
But all right. Now this match, even though I predicted it, I wanted it to happen. I didn't think it would actually happen. But Kota Ibushi, Jay White, for the double title contract at Wrestle Kingdom. Did not expect. I mean, if Jay White was going to win, he was going to do something. And that's exactly what he did. He put his foot on the ropes on a backslide.
Yeah.
And which is weird, because doesn't Red Shoes normally referee the semifinal and the final match of the night?
Ever since he took over from Hitori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird seeing, like, I didn't catch on until like halfway through the match where it was Marty Asami.
I think Asami is their number 2 guy now.
Yeah, because it's Kenta Sato, Marty Asami, and then Red Shoes. So for Red Shoes to...
They should make Ryusuke Taguchi a part-time ref.
Oh, that's just too much. So when that happened, first I was happy. I was excited. I marked out. And then I began to think, how would this affect Wrestle Kingdom?
I was salty. But then I got salty for nothing the next day when the news came out.
So that's what I was thinking. Like, before the press conference, I was thinking, okay, Naito may give Ibushi a title shot regardless.
Yeah.
And then face White on January 5th, because that's what he requested. And then the next day during the press conference, he actually stated he wants to give Ibushi a title shot, and then face White the next night. So, and then like a couple hours later, it's official: Naito Ibushi, night 1; Naito White, night 2.
Yeah. The only, like, a lot of people was confused about that, saying like, like, why do you make it so hard on him? And I actually see. So here's the thing. Number one, he has kind of like a reverse Bushido style, but it's like he knows that there's a history that the winner of the G1, regardless of who ends up, if he end up losing the opportunity later, the winner of the G1 is usually ends up being at the main event of Wrestle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I think this is a way for him to actually honor that tradition. It's saying, you know what, Jay White, you didn't win, you scrub. So you get your match on day 2, but I really want to fight the winner of the G1 because I didn't win it. Ibushi did.
Yeah.
So that's one thing right there that I'm excited for. But 2, like we all know it's coming. And I want to get your thoughts on this. We kind of touched on it last week where we predicted Wrestle Kingdom, but
yeah, everything's
changed now. And I do believe that Ibushi is going to beat Naito on night 1.
Yep.
And I think he's still going to somehow eke by on night 2 for his coming out party. And I know you're probably pulling for Jay White, but Meltzer and a couple of guys actually wrote a report as well that I remembered from 2 weeks ago. And when he was talking to some of the people over there in Japan, like some of the people that handle the media crew, like Naito is. You remember when, I think it was a year and a half ago, when Tanahashi was bad, like his arm and his knees was bad.
Oh yeah.
And then he went on layaway for about 2-3 months and then came back refreshed.
Yeah.
Naito is all banged up in that same situation. He has a bad lower back and his knees is just killing him.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna go on a break probably for like the remainder of the rest of the winter and maybe the beginning part of spring, and then come back probably around the build to the road to Dominion or something, which is good, is well deserved. Or he could use that time to go AEW.
You're just trying to keep that portal open.
Hold the door. But yeah, that's how I see things. I wouldn't mind a Jay White win, but I really want to see Ibushi.
Yeah, win the big one.
Win the big one twice.
Yeah, I can actually see that happening. I mean, I'm all for White, being double champion. But the way things are going between Evil and Jay White, that's a powder keg waiting to explode.
You know what I think is going to happen is Ibushi is probably going to not want to keep defending both titles.
Yeah.
Especially if they end up getting the U.S. title back over there. If Moxley ends up dropping it. He probably might lose the IC belt later on down the line. So they need to build that up. Unless it's, he's feuding with 2 members of Bullet Club, one for the IC belt and another for the heavyweight belt. But I would rather him hold the heavyweight title until at least Dominion, and then drop the IC belt maybe whenever it fits best, I guess. To whoever it may be, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would like to see the double title at least, run its course after Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, you need to...
It took, for me right now, ever since they did that last year, it took away an extra program that meant something to me. Because I love that Intercontinental title belt. as is. And then when they went on hiatus for about 6 months and then came back, I was like, oh, I hope Naito, defends it one by one, and then I was hoping that Evil would defend it one by one, and then they swapped it again. I'm like, ah.
Yeah. Like at some point, I just want somebody to be like, all right, you want a title shot, you get the Intercontinental title, or you get the heavyweight.
Mm.
Like just one title, not both.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and that concludes Power Struggle card last Saturday morning.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me see. Was there a tournament, or is that, or we can save that for next week?
Oh, we can save that later. I mean, I got the brackets written down. I got, we can save that for later. I mean, there's lots to talk
there's
about.
a tournament in December, right? All the way in December, and then one later on this month.
Well, because in New Japan because they're running the Best of the Super Juniors 27 and World Tag League concurrently. Yeah. So they alternate on nights. So, and then there's the Super J Cup, which happens on December 12th.
Okay, so we got two running concurrently later on this month. Super J Cup is the one that starts in this. Okay.
Yeah, the Super J Cup is a one-night tournament.
So when does the first of the tournaments that's supposed to start this month?
The 15th, November 15th.
15th. Okay.
Yeah.
So we might be able to do a second episode between Wednesday and Saturday, just to preview those two.
Yeah, I was thinking about one of those days before Saturday.
Okay. All right, so be on the lookout for a second Backstage Slam episode. Prep you for the two upcoming tournaments for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And do you want to start off with the recent AEW news, or do you want to rate and review Full Gear?
Let's go with the current events that just happened a couple hours ago.
Okay. So AEW Games is finally unleashed. News version 1.0. They are coming out with a console game and two mobile games. The latter, which includes I guess you could say a casino game, which hasn't kind of made clear, because I was under the impression it will be kind of like a electronic trading card game that's kind of sort of similar to other electronic card games out there, like Hearthstone. They did a whole trailer for that. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's an actual casino game with AEW themed casino chips or whatever. That's supposed to be available, I think, next month or sometime later this month. It just said available this winter. And then next year they have a mobile game called Elite GM, where it's a pocket GM game where you book AEW cards, and then it's basically a fantasy league, an electronic fantasy league. Not interested in either of those games. I just hope that the people that will be playing those two mobile games, that they don't do microtransactions or people gotta spend real money to get stuff, because that's bad. But the big news is the console game got a teaser trailer, and it's nowhere near the final. It probably most likely ain't going to be the actual graphics engine. They just slap something together. It's basically a game engine, but using a CG trailer showcased Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, and Hikaru Shida in the AEW video game for coming in for current gen and next gen consoles. No word on PC yet. However, they locked down longtime WWE / WWF games, Ukes, which has published and produced past WWE games in conjunction with THQ, but THQ mostly took over that somewhere, I guess in the 2010s era, where THQ did most of the heavy load. And then THQ got, I guess, absorbed into 2K games, and some of the guys that worked for Ukes got phased out. And the story is that they had a new engine for WWE 2K21, but 2K Games decided against it. And they just copied 2K20 for this new, 2K21 game, and we all know how that came out. So, whatever engine that is, I hope that it's not the engine that's going to be used in this game. I hope they just go back to an older engine, just update it, and they got the guy who created an arguably one of the top 3 best wrestling video games ever made on the Nintendo 64, and that is WWF No Mercy. For me, it was the funnest video game ever made. So they got the director of that and as the lead developer, along with Ukes, to produce and develop the AEW console game, which got me all types of excited. Did you check out this news live, and what are your thoughts?
No, I caught the highlights of it. I'm really excited for this development. I mean, I loved WWF No Mercy for the N64. It's my favorite game. So I played for hours, and the create a pay-per-view was the most utilized thing on that.
Oh, yeah. So I liked No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000 because it was basically the same engine. And then the older games for the PlayStation 1 was, the WCW versus the World, WCW versus NWO versus the World.
Yeah.
I love those games. And I know Kenny loved those games as well. So I'm really happy. A lot of people tripping out like, oh, it looks like the new WWE Battlegrounds. It's just Fortnite graphics. And I'm like, yeah, but if you guys looked at the thing, they literally slapped a CG trailer together. Okay. So even if it looks like that, there's going to be some polish to it. Like, Kenny's face looked actually like Kenny, but Sheeta's face could have used a little bit more work. Jericho's face did not look like him as much as I thought it would. I was like, is that really Jericho? But they slapped something together. It's like super easy. Or not super easy, I'm like, give it time. Okay? Just make sure that it's not buggy. It plays at 60 frames per second 100% of the time, especially if you have 21 guys in the ring during the Casino Battle Royal. Like, since what, 2013? During the Royal Rumble? If there's more, as soon as there's more than 8 guys on screen, it goes from 60 FPS to 30 FPS, and it gets super slow and laggy.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't need that crap. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm also happy that you're not restricted. I don't know when was the last WWE game where you could actually take I guess have intergender matches. because it's been a while. Unless
Yeah.
you use mods on the PC version. So I'm excited for that. I'm also excited because since they're using that, you remember the finishers during back then, where they have like a big splash screen, and then there's like some like a sound effect and a special camera when a finishing move is made. I hope they bring that back because Kenny was alluding to NFL Blitz and NBA Jam in terms of flashiness.
Yeah.
So I want the special camera and special sound effects for finishing moves and signature moves. It's gonna be counter heavy, like it was back then. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
like if someone did the grapple and then on the left stick to reverse it, you have to guess up, down, left, right on the analog stick, and if you hit it correctly, you will reverse that grapple. Um, So they hinted at the game is gonna be fast paced, and then there's gonna be a lot of counter system like the old WWF games that they teased it in the trailer. I'm happy with that. But what I'm really happy about, you remember during back then, you remember when you could actually you set up a table on the outside, exploit the game a little bit by walking into the table, and then you can push the table to the perfect spot and then do some like ridiculous spill to the outside ring like a superplex.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah. I
glitch it,
remember that.
instead of the superplex into the ring, it'll superplex because it for some reason it locks onto the table, and then you get that awesome custom move that really wasn't supposed to happen, but you
Yeah.
made it happen because it's a glitch, but it was end up being awesome. And the tag team moves, the special camera work, and the way they made tag team tandem moves so special. Oh, I can't wait to have that back in AEW. It's gonna be so good. I'm excited.
Oh, can't wait for it to come out, man.
Like I said, it just has to be fast. It has to be super fun and not as glitchy and buggy.
Yeah.
And a good online play. It has to have a good online netcode. Okay, so let's talk about AEW Full Gear. What's your overall thoughts and impressions of the pay-per-view? To me, this was the best pay-per-view for any major American wrestling promotion. Uh, I really love this pay-per-view. Actually gave it. I actually watched it again for a third time.
Oh wow.
This morning. Um, I just put on my headphones and blasted the volume
Yeah.
because the construction noise is still going on. I was like, oh man, this is
Yeah.
such a good pay-per-view. And we'll get down to what I liked and what I didn't like. But what was your overall impressions of it?
It was. It lived up to the hype
Mm.
for me. So I mean, I enjoyed it. Uh, there are little things here and there that slowed the pace down, but it never really slowed down, so to speak.
Mm.
But I was entertained. I was on the edge of my seat most of the night watching it, and yeah, it delivered in my eyes.
Okay. So here on the podcast, we go with the 5-star system for rating matches, and we go out and when we rate the entire show at the end, we go with the 10 out of 10 score.
Okay.
All right, so let's start off with the singles match for the NWA World Women's Championship. By the way, let's get this out of the way. This is the biggest elephant in the room. The biggest problem currently, I guess, in the IWC is AEW giving more attention to the NWA Women's title than they are with the AEW Women's title. How do you feel about that? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's about the same amount of time or same amount of attention. I mean, yeah, the NWA World Women's title was on the buy-in show, but as far as showcasing the titles, I mean, I think it's just about the same.
It seems a little bit people are more excited for that because Thunder Rosa came out and it's like, I'm not done with you yet,
Yeah.
and later on Sheeta ended up winning and it's like, oh, well, what's next?
Yeah,
you
like
know, did
what's
I
next for Sheeta?
Yeah, I personally, like I said last week, I felt like they could have done a better job building up Sheeta's match with Nyla Rose, but like I said, we found out that there were times when they meant to actually feature Nyla on TV. Vicky couldn't make the show, and it was decided that if Vicky couldn't be there, it wouldn't it would be better to not have Nyla on there at all because the dynamic wouldn't work. So that hurt, and like I said, Britt Baker and Abaddon and Chris Statlander's injury all in a row.
Mm.
They were all supposed to challenge Sheeta. And Sheeta ended up having 2 months straight where she would be on Dark, raking up some wins and a match or two on Dynamite. And since Vicky couldn't make certain shows, Nyla was kept off. She was either on the crowd or, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really unfortunate. And by the way, this is all coming from Tony Khan during the presser. He
Mm.
actually acknowledges all of this. Like, how come there wasn't more build for the AEW women's match? And he said, well, Vicky and Nyla, they work as a tandem. And whenever Vicky can't make a Dynamite taping, it was decided that, to not feature them. And that's why they put Sheeta in the crowd with the title to make people say, like, oh, that's the women's champion. It's unfortunate. And he says he also makes people realize that a lot of injuries and the travel restrictions with the Joshi, like he said if he could, uh, that Riho would be here in
Mm-hmm.
AEW, and Yuka Sakazaki would be back.
Mm.
But he said he hopes to have them back soon by Q1 2021, which is good news. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. But I get it, I understand it, and for right now, the NWA women's title scene seems a little bit more interesting, but it was kind of an accident that just happened that way.
Yeah.
Right now, I want Britt Baker, especially the performance she put on during tonight's AEW Games event, where everybody dressed up as Steve Jobs. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
So she's the big heel. I actually kind of want Britt Baker to win the women's title. But that's just me. Serena Deeb defeated Allison Kay by submission, 10 minutes and 25 seconds. I give this a 3.5. I thought Serena Deeb and Allison Kay was awesome. And man, this match, I hope I know Serena Deeb is signed to AEW already. Get the belt off of her, since she's a full-time AEW employee, and let her go up against Cheetah.
Yeah.
Build up Allison Kay. I hope Allison Kay signs. I hope Thunder Rosa signs as well. But I really enjoyed this match. This was really solid output, and very, very impressed with Serena Deeb and Allison Kay's performance. Much better than I thought.
Yeah, the big surprise for me was Serena Deeb pulling out the CR2 finisher, made famous by ELP.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh wow, she pulled that off," and then went into her finisher submission hold. I was like, "All right, I see you." And yeah, got the job done, I guess.
I was also
So
trying out the size difference between the two, and I was also amazed that she was able to lift Allison Kay, and it looked easy.
yeah,
And Allison easily looked like she had 25 pounds on her. I was like, whoa, she lifted her.
yeah, and Serena's just a bit shorter in height, right, than Allison.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes a huge difference. And
It looked like a yoga instructor lifting up a softball player
yeah,
with big legs. I was tripping. I was like, whoa, she's stronger than I thought. What do you rate that match?
I'm gonna give it 3.25. I mean, it was entertaining for me. Like I said, the big surprise was Serena pulling out the CR2 and slapping on a submission and getting the win.
Sweet.
So
Okay. Next match is my second favorite match of the night. Kenny Omega defeating Hangman Adam Page in the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Final Match. Winner receives a future AEW World Championship title shot. This match was shorter than I thought it would be, but the action was high octane, non-stop, hard-hitting, strong style. 16:25.
Phew.
It felt shorter than 16:25, but man, like this is like non-stop, hard
Yeah,
hitting.
yeah,
The
there was a lot of there was like little to no rest periods in that match.
Yeah, for me, the spot of the match was at the very end, where they kept countering each other's finishers. Kenny hoists Hangman up, and a staggered Hangman who took two straight V triggers, one in the back of the head, one to the face,
Mm-hmm.
who did his best to fight off the one winged angel, and he just couldn't in the end. I thought that was amazing. Um, and then a little bit of Rock and Austin, um, Roman Reigns and Undertaker, where they both had an exchange, but the camera that was pointed straight down from the roof, when Kenny, whatever the exchange was there, we all would think, oh, Kenny's touching him on the chest while saying something. It must be encouraging or whatever, or they're trying to be bygones with bygones.
Mm-hmm.
But the face that Hangman had was of pure petrification. So I'm thinking maybe Kenny said something douchey to him. And then that's why he walked away in the fashion that he did. And Hangman was just like, it looked like he had his soul sucked out from him. Especially when he came back out later on that night, where he was hanging around in the entrance tunnel, all alone. I gave this match a 4.25.
I will agree with that as well. I mean, I'm rating it 4.25. I swear I can talk.
My excuse is I had 2 cups of coffee.
Then I have no excuse because I took my pre-workout in the morning, and yeah, I'm just slow.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're a couple of years from hitting 40, and dyslexia has already hit us.
Oh, it already hit me in my mid-20s, so I'm already way past it. But yeah, for me, the turning point in that match, I mean, everything was fast-paced, the dives to the outside. I mean, but the turning point for me in that match was that pop-up powerbomb on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
On the ramp near the stairs. I mean, that I know that had to hurt. That took the wind out of me watching it.
Same.
And then hitting Deadeye in the ring, I thought that was it.
Yeah. What about Kenny Omega's balance act? He got Irish whipped into the guardrail and did a moonsault off of it as one of his foot slipped off of the guardrail. Oh, that could have been bad.
Yeah. I cringe at any time somebody slips, like even if it's just a little bit. Yeah. It's like, oh, that could end in so many ways.
Tonight's Dark had like 3 of those.
Damn.
Yeah. You know, but all those matches that it happened to have guys who were making their debuts. So, again. Huh.
Yeah, just slow it down. You don't have to rush.
Okay. Coming up next, Orange Cassidy defeating John Silver in a singles match. I give this a 3.75. I really enjoyed this match. Like, I hope they feature John Silver more on TV. Perfect opportunity. Just give John Silver more reps, more mic time on TV. And during the post-show presser, Tony Khan was like, you know, he called John Silver into his office and he scared John Silver. He's like, you know, like, why didn't you tell me? And then John Silver started to sweat bullets. And he's like, that you are so good with your personality. Where has this John Silver been? Why do we only see it on Dark and BTE? So, he got this opportunity, won everybody over, and he really looked impressive. Like, he looked like a smaller version of Pac. And Daniel Bryan at times. It was just shocking.
Yep.
I don't remember the name of the move, but it was he hoisted Orange Cassidy up like a gorilla pest tossing F5, and it was impressive as hell.
Yeah.
To say the least. And that's usually his finisher as well too. And I was like, "Oh, this dude is strong." And I hope this isn't the end between these two. I want to see these two keep going. Just, you know, especially Orange Cassidy needs some wins.
Yeah.
So 3.75. Really enjoyed this match.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I mean, seeing John Silver just utilize his strengths and his abilities. And just to he really impressed me in my eyes in this match. I mean, his stock in my eyes just rose. So, but in the end, he ended up losing to Cassidy, which we all know was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give this one 3.5.
All right. Oh, this match also went 9 minutes 40 seconds, almost 10 minutes. Next match was my third favorite match, but the match that told the best story. For me personally, by the best storyteller in pro wrestling right now, Cody Rhodes. Singles match for the AEW TNT Championship. Match went 17 minutes from bell to bell. Darby Allin, in his 4th time facing Cody Rhodes, dethrones the ace and becomes the new ace of TNT by winning the TNT Championship. I give this a solid 4. Amazing story, amazing psychology. Really, really good psychology. It's just like the tag team match, there's just like so much going on, so much good things that I liked. But what really got me curious was Arn Anderson. After that match, he looked so pissed. Like, he looked at the camera and he gave this face, like, he made this face like, I'm sick and tired of Cody going off script, going off the game plan. I have a feeling he might dump Cody, betray Cody, and probably go join the Horsemen. He probably might go join Tully.
Right.
You know.
Well, we saw it earlier in the match. Remember when Cody had Darby down?
He
Cody
cheated.
started doing He started doing push-ups,
Mm.
and you can hear Arn Anderson yelling, hitting the mat, like, "Hey, stop! Beat him!
Yeah.
Like, come on, focus! Like, finish him!"
Yeah. Arn also pulled a dirty move too in that match. So maybe they're sowing the seeds there. I really enjoyed that ring. I was like, whoa, Arn, what is that look?
Yeah.
Even going backstage, he shook his head and he threw his game plan notes down. He threw it down hard.
His Waffle House menu.
Man.
But yeah, I also give this one a 4. The key moment in that match was, for me, the Avalanche Crossroads.
Yeah.
From the top rope. That I didn't know what they were trying to do, but I was like, "What are you doing? What's going on?" And like, all I could think of was like, "Please don't hurt Darby."
I think me and you swore on Discord at around the same time. Holy
Yeah.
F.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But good for Darby. I mean, he deserves it. Happy for him, and yeah, I mean, let's see where he takes this TNT championship.
You know who I really want to see in the TNT championship? Now that Darby's a champion, I want to see guys in similar stature. I want to see Orange Cassidy. I want to see uh, Ricky Starks. I want to see Pac. I want to see Jungle Boy. I want to see those 5 guys mix it up.
Yeah.
You know, and they really need a juniors title. I can't believe I'm saying it.
You know, I'm all for the juniors.
All right. Coming up next is one of my 2 of the lowest points. Not bad, but low points for the pay-per-view. Hikaru Shida defeating Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero in a singles match for the AEW Women's Championship. I give this a 2.75. I thought this was underwhelming. A lot. I hate you saying the word botch, but there was a lot of messy spots in this match, especially a potentially dangerous one where it looked like Hikaru got slammed on the side of her knee, and I thought she might have legit got hurt there, but she looked fine, other than bloody gums. And I could tell Nyla Rose was working through some ring rust because her timings was off.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. What was shocking to me was the Falcon Arrow off of the turnbuckle didn't end the match, and Hikaru being unlike herself to pull Nyla Rose up before the 3 count just so that she could throw some more dirt in her face because she got that done to her. To me, it didn't make sense, but like I said, Tony said he's trying to make her kind of like the Goldberg for now.
Oh God, why?
Well, no, that's my verbiage.
Yeah,
but he wants a dominant women's champion, and then when she does get beat, it's going to be a big thing, and I think it's going to be Britt Baker to be the one who does it. And then, but yeah, so 2.75. I wanted to give it a 3, but it was just too messy. But it's not. It's better than anything in WWE except for Bayley versus Sasha in recent memory.
Well, I guess I'll be the generous one because I gave it a 3.
Okay.
It's just I didn't get the whole. I get Nyla pulling Shida up to stop the count, but I mean, it's for a title. You don't. It's not like a non-title match or just any other match. It's not a squash match.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're winning the title. Like, why would you stop the count if it's for a title. It makes no sense. And then for Shida to do that as well, like 5 minutes later, that also made it not make sense. Yeah. And that just made me even more frustrated. Like, this is for a title. Why are you pulling your opponent up to stop the count?
This match went 14-10. And to
It
me, it
should have
was...
only lasted 7.
Yeah. It should have lasted... So much mistakes would have been erased had it been 7-8 minutes. I predicted a 4 to 5 minute squash by Nyla, but we didn't get that.
Well, I predicted less, so
yeah. Coming up next for me was the match of the night, the one that we've all been waiting for. 28 minutes and 35 seconds.
Ooh.
AEW Tag Team Championship match. Tully Blanchard was barred from ringside. And if the Young Bucks lost, they would never be able to challenge for the AEW Tag Team Championships again. And what was so good was that it actually looked like it would happen plenty of times, man. Especially that last 5 minutes. I thought the Bucks were done, dude.
I thought Matt was done. The way he was hopping around on one leg.
Yeah. Like, did you see the taped up ankle? Like, his foot and his ankle and his toe was bleeding.
Yeah.
I was like, geez, they really going to town on that. And but yeah, the Bucks ended up pulling out the win here. There's just so much going on here. I couldn't rate this a perfect. Because the only other good tag team match was the Young Bucks versus the Golden Lovers. You remember that match a year and a half ago in California?
Yeah, wasn't that the San Francisco show?
Yeah, at the Cow Palace.
Yeah.
That was tag team perfection. This one didn't quite reach that because I thought if everybody went in there 100% healthy, but they would be fine. But here's my key takeaway. Matt couldn't do flips. So what did who was it? Cash? He ended up hitting the ring post, busted up his knuckle and got cut on his hand, which means he couldn't use his fist. Right? Somebody on the Bucks couldn't do dives, and the other one couldn't do any fists. Which was amazing. And then the trading of tag team finishing moves from past teams that have defeated them.
Yep.
That was amazing. And for me, what gave this match a 4.75 was this was a love letter to tag team wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it.
Yeah, I love them utilizing past tag team finishers, like from the golden era of the WWE all the way to now.
Mm.
It's just like they're just hitting them. Like as soon as you saw it, it's like, oh, the Super Bulldog, the tribute to the Steiners, and then the 3D, and then pulling out Twist of Fate and the Swanton Bomb. I mean, I was actually like the Heart Attack. I was waiting for like the Doomsday Device.
Yeah.
So I was calling like, all right, where's the Doomsday Device? And then they pull out DIY. I'm like, where is this coming from?
The real MVP of this match to me was Excalibur. And I was happy because I was like, oh man. Actually, you know what? I take that back. The real MVP was JR, who had the decency, because this match was so high octane with all these moves that I know that he just couldn't, his mind cannot keep up with, that he relegated Excalibur, the youngest on the team, to be the lead caller of this match. And it just made the match elevated for me.
Yeah. But that was the last 5 minutes where they're just trading off old finishers, and you can just admire the production, just admire the athleticism, just seeing it perfectly executed. You couldn't put it together more, and then having the one flip from a guy that doesn't do flips.
And it was the most beautiful springboard 450 splash that never hit.
Yeah. You know,
you seen all the camera on the babyface side was like, what just happened?
You live and die by your mantra. But it was just perfectly executed. Timing was impeccable, and I'm gonna rate this one a 4.75 as well.
Okay, here's a scary one that we might defer. I also thought that this was the only other low point. I thought this was too long. 19 minutes and 39 seconds. The Elite Deletion match.
Was it really that long?
Yes, it was.
Oh. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Matt Hardy deleting Sammy Guevara. And here's what I liked about it. The cameos.
Yep.
The cameos, the jibber jabber. I didn't like the fact that so many people got involved. I understand why Private Party is there. Matt's trying to make them the new Hardy Boys of this generation. Okay, I get it. I love Santana and Ortiz, but they didn't really need to be in this. Had it just been outside interference with Gangrel and then Hurricane coming to make the save, and it was just those 4 guys instead of a total of 8 guys being involved, to me, I thought it would have been cleaner. I popped for Senor Benjamin, the drone, the monster truck, but it was just too long. 10, 11 minutes would have been fine. It just kept on dragging. And the camera cuts too. The camera cuts too was weird, especially when, the Private Party, and it took forever for them to get there because Matt was getting beat on 3-on-1 for like almost 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That was weird. And the internet wrestling community seems to think that the pre-tape cinematic matches, the charm of it is starting to wear off. And I'm tending to agree, at least with this one. How do you feel about that?
To me, it's still entertaining. I mean, but yeah, if you go too long, it does, like, it wears on you. Like, you want it to end. Like, you want it to be a short quote unquote movie. You don't want it to drag on to like a full episode.
Like that last part. Remember I was telling you that I had it on a large 7.1 surround sound in the living room. That last part, there was a couple of, because they were piping in noise.
Mm-hmm.
And you could hear the crowd. There was a couple of "this is boring," like 2 or 3 idiots, but close enough to the the audio.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, end it. And this was right around the last act where the shutter for the garage door closed. And that was like another 5-6 minutes. I was like, oh, I could hear "this is boring" chants from a few people, but it's so noticeable on these loudspeakers. Stop it. And the last thing that irritated me was the commentary. I felt it was too much because they were playing the spooky horror music, which made a really good aesthetic to the match. As things was getting more hardcore, the music kept getting more scarier. But then JR, every time he opened his mouth, you could tell by the tone of his voice, he just wasn't feeling it. He just wasn't into it. I was like, man, JR, shut up. Let Excalibur talk, man. We all know you think this match is hokey. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
He sounded so sarcastic. And Tony was having fun. And Excalibur was trying his best to, like, call it. But it's like, JR is ruining this match.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was the little jabs that Matt Hardy was throwing out there. Like, Sammy, you're in the mud. Get up. Old people are going to think this is a mud show. That was... Yeah, the middle part where everybody's fighting in the ring, and Gangrel, Hurricane, all that, that could have been taken out.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, Private Party comes and takes out, Santana or Ortiz. Boom. Mm-hmm. That part is done. And then Gangrel shows up holding Hurricane hostage. All right, cool. Beat them up, save Hurricane. That part done. And then quickly go to them going into the barn. And that would have been it.
Yeah. I mean, I love fireworks. I love pyro. But every time they did a Hardy compound match, it's the same way they do it. Oh, they're in the trenches and trading fire. I was like, I was kind of hoping that they would do something different.
Yeah.
Like, if I did it, I would have been like, oh, there's definitely going to be outside interference. I don't want that. If we see Santana and Ortiz and Private Party get anywhere near the compound, they would set off a tripwire trap and then show them running away from a bombardment of fireworks. Do something different. But unfortunately, it's become a laughable meme in a negative way on Twitter, where Sammy was already rolling around in the mud, and the fireworks is hitting him in the ass, and then a couple of WWE nut huggers is like, "Is this what wrestling has become outside of WWE?"
Oh, God.
I'm like, oh, shut up, dude. But at the same time, it's like, it could have been a little bit more creative, but it's understandable. I'm gonna give this, because it was entertaining, I'm gonna give this a 3 and no higher.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm on the total opposite side of that spectrum. I mean, I enjoyed it. I did run. I didn't know it ran 19 minutes, but if they could just take out that middle part where everybody's fighting in the ring, that just got conveniently placed there in the yard.
Yeah.
If they took that part out, we didn't have to see all of them fighting for some apparent reason. But if they took that part out and just went from, Sammy and Matt, everybody, Gangrel and Hurricane to the end, I think it would have been more entertaining. I mean, it was entertaining for me for the cameos and the jab shots with the commentary and Senior Benjamin. But to me, that was entertaining. So I'm going to give this a 4.
Okay. These next two matches, the last two matches in the card, was really annoying for me, not because of the show, but because of all the noise that was going on outside. So, I was getting, I kept walking out and, like closing my door, my window, and then reopening it because it was getting hot. And then when it get loud again, I would shut everything. I kept doing it for like the last 40 minutes of the pay-per-view. So I kept walking away at crucial moments, and the most crucial moment was the finish. I didn't get to see the finish. I only got to saw the replay, which is why I was kind of perplexed. And then after watching it several times, I rated this match higher than I was going to give it. I was going to give this a 2 and a 2.75, but I actually gave it a 3.5 because I was able to rewatch it without any interruptions. And what made this match was the ending. Like, a lot of people were kind of missed, and they kind of missed this, but it was the Eddie Guerrero lie, cheat, and steal pull.
Yep.
And yeah, like it was just touching. Like, my eyes watered up the second time I watched it. Not live. I was like, what happened? I was like, oh. And then I wrote on Discord, I was like, the match was okay, but the ending sucked. But that was the end result, right?
Yeah.
Because they were talking about it. Oh, he rolled him up for the win. I was like, a roll up? And then I quickly had to say, like, okay, I take it back. It was the Eddie finish. Because the replay was, delayed, or they took too long to show the replay. And I was like, oh! Yeah. Good storytelling, not as good as Cody and Darby Allin, but good story in here. Another one is Wardlow and Jake Hager. We know these two guys ain't gonna get along in the Inner Circle. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow night on Dynamite when MJF and Wardlow get inducted into the Inner Circle. But yeah, 3.5, solid match. Yeah, I just, this is just the beginning. Like, this isn't the end or the middle of something. Like, this is the beginning of something happening. I really want them to stretch this out for at least a minimum of 3 months before they do a big turn or wherever this is going. I don't want them to do it immediately tomorrow. But yeah, we already talked about last week where we see where this is going. But yeah, 3.5 is what I'm going to give it. And this was 16 minutes and 10 seconds.
I'm giving this one a 4.
Okay.
But yeah, not Eddie. Wardlow and Jake Hager. I mean, those two guys staring each other down, and it's like current boyfriend, ex-boyfriend at the ex-girlfriend's house, and the ex-boyfriend has a kid with her, and they're just sizing each other up. They're forced to coexist.
Commentary kept putting over Hager, like, oh, he's showing the battle scars from his real legitimate fight in Bellator. And I'm thinking, yeah, but all of his fights weren't that good. It was lay and pray, and he was getting bust up. He don't want all his fights on ground and pound.
Yeah.
But whatever. I get it.
A win's a win.
Yeah. Finally, Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston. The match that I paid least attention to because, of all the crap that was going on. On the second and third rewatch, oh, man. Solid 4. Good story being told. And the barbed wire being wrapped, both guys wrapping the barbed wire around their arm and hand. Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, I saw on Twitter that a couple of people were kind of shocked that it kind of, the way that Moxley won was like, somebody put it in parentheses, like, oh, when like an assassin or a serial killer uses a wire to choke someone to death. And I was like, okay, you don't have to go that far, but I get it.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people felt uncomfortable. Like how they felt uncomfortable during the Stadium Stampede match where Santana Ortiz kept drowning Matt.
Yeah.
Like that uncomfortable because Shad Gaspard passed away the week before and drowned at the beach.
Yeah.
It's like it's coincidental. I get it. I understand it, but this is wrestling entertainment. Be a little bit more forgiving. I know it, but especially like Eddie sold it. Like he looked like his eyes was about to bulge, pop out of his head. At the
Yeah.
very last moment, he said, "I quit." You know.
That was a heartbreaking. That was
Yeah.
a heartbreaking point for me.
What's even more heartbreaking was the post show interview that he had that got uploaded to Twitter and YouTube.
Mm.
Oh, so inspiring! It's like they gotta turn Eddie babyface.
Yeah.
And I get it. I was against Eddie getting a shot, but they did a really good build, and I'm sold on Eddie, and I want Eddie as TNT champion sometime next year.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because, man, what are you gonna do with Brian Cage? What are you gonna do with Brody Lee? What are they gonna do with Lance Archer? These guys gotta win a belt.
Yeah.
But so many people, when so many people can be viable champions, you know that the company's doing something so good.
Yeah. I just gotta find the right. Just wait for the right time or wait for the right storyline, I guess.
Yeah. The I Quit match, AEW title, Jon Moxley retains. 17 minutes, 35 seconds. Like I said, we said this before, Jon Moxley is also the IWGP US champion. I don't see him defending and losing that title while being the AEW champion because it would make AEW look weak. But at the same time, Chris Jericho was the AEW champion and he lost his Wrestle Kingdom match. So I just remembered that just now. So I need to eat my own words. I'm okay with it, I guess. Man, out of 10, I gave this an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm around that. I'm hovering between 8.75.
I gave
Like eight and
Double
a
or
half and
Nothing. I gave Double or Nothing a 7.5, and All Out a 5.5, which was the lowest. But I always gave all AEW pay-per-views a 7.5 to a 9.5.
Mm.
The very first, I think it was the one where Moxley came in at the very end when Jericho defeated Hangman. That was the only one I gave a 10 to that pay per view.
Oh wow!
And the rest were like 9s, 8.5s, and then a 7.5 earlier this year.
I'm gonna go 8.75.
Mm-hmm. Strangely enough, though, Kev, last year out of the 4 shows, Revolution was my favorite pay per view, and out of these shows this year, now that 3 of them are done and Revolution is up next, I am so excited. The question is, do we have to wait that long for Moxley to drop the belt, or is Kenny going to win it sooner? What do you think?
I think it's going to be sooner because then if we tie in if we tie in New Japan, and if it is 20 days that he needs to quarantine before being on their shows, I'm thinking maybe the first week of December, like the first show after Thanksgiving, have it build up to where Kenny's gonna invoke his number one contenders match or his title match.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's going to be like, if not the first week of September, somewhere early, end of November, early December, where we could see Jon Moxley losing the title on TNT on Dynamite.
Yeah. I want to see that too, because if you wait that long, 3 months and 3 weeks, if you wait that long till the next pay-per-view, then the only way to keep interest in the back of our minds of that is you gotta give guys like Brian Cage, Brody Lee, Lance Archer a shot at the AEW title.
Yeah.
And Moxley. But then again, you could have a new champion, and since all of those guys are heels, and Kenny, even though he's showing heel tendencies right now, he's a tweener. He's the cleaner right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody still likes him. I just think, I would like to see Kenny defend the belt against. I want to see him wrestle Brian Cage. I want to see him wrestle Lance Archer. Do you know who Chris Van Vliet is? He's also a part-time AEW interviewer, but has his own YouTube channel.
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, Chris Van Vliet. Before the pandemic, he was at every AEW pay-per-view as a interviewer. I want to post you on Facebook his channel. I want you to follow him because he does a lot of wrestling interviews every week. He released a video this morning with Lance Archer, and he says he can't wait to wrestle Kenny Omega. Like literally, like that was the first guy he thought of when he got his first sign to AEW. He's like, "Oh man, I want to fight. I want to wrestle Kenny Omega." And he said he worked with Brian Cage before, but never on a big time promotion. And that those two have really good chemistry. So I can't wait to see them do that. And he said that he can't wait to get in the ring with Brody Lee. So, the biggest hosses who aren't really active right now and is just kind of on the side burner, they all got one loss to either Cody or Moxley now. But they all are at a deadlock in the top 5 rankings. Something's got to happen.
Yeah.
So those guys are not. No justice is being done for them. We got to get something for them. So with that said, what is your rating again?
8.75 for the pay-per-view.
Okay, 8.5, 8.75. That is our review. So in a couple of days, we're going to be talking New Japan, a pair of New Japan tournaments. We're going to preview that. And then next week is the go-home week for the next WWE pay-per-view. I forgot which one it was because I don't watch WWE until the Royal Rumble.
Oh, it's Survivor Series, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not going to watch that live, to be quite honest. I'm just trying my best not to fall out of love with WWE.
Yeah.
So I will keep tabs on it. I don't care about spoilers. But I will do a review on it. It just won't be a fair review because I am not watching the pay-per-view. But I can tell you my thoughts on the results, like I have done in the last 2 pay-per-views. Do you have any big concerns or does this pay-per-view interest you at all? Like the only thing that interests me is Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. That's it. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah, for me it's just Roman Reigns and how he's taking this heel character to like a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like involving family and making Heyman just like not even Brock Lesnar did to Heyman what Roman Reigns is doing to Heyman right now. It's just I like that. I like the dynamic way better between Roman and Heyman than I did with Brock and Heyman.
You're here to take care of these things for me.
So I do.
Oh man. Yeah, that's so good. Mustafa Ali getting the best run of his WWE career. Unfortunately, he's tied to a team or a stable that has not won a match when it matters. Retribution. And I was so against Retribution because I hate the kayfabe people and arguments every time. Oh, you just don't have an open mind. You're just a WWE hater. No, because all of these guys were in NXT. They currently have WWE contracts. Then they put on masks and act like Batman villains, and then they say, "Oh, we're gonna do what we want until we get a contract." What? Like, there's a meme right now on Twitter. I kid you not, where they showed everybody in Retribution on the left tile, and it says Donovan Dijakovic, contract with WWE. Mia Yim, contract with WWE. Dio Madden, blah, 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 blah. And then on the right side of the caption, going down the list, their stupid, ridiculous names, has no contract, question mark, has no contract, question mark. I'm like, this is just botched from the beginning, man. I didn't like it.
Yeah, like why do you want to be on the main roster?
Right.
Like, have you not learned your lesson from seeing Nakamura, Samoa Joe, fucking Robert Roode?
The money must have been pretty damn tempting to not turn down.
Like, you were killing it. Mia Yim was killing it in NXT.
Yeah.
Donovan was killing it in NXT. Like, he had great matches, brutal matches between him and Keith Lee. It's like,
I really wanted to see Mia fight Raquel Gonzalez, because right now Raquel is just dominating everybody and they're tiny compared to Mia.
Yeah.
So, got Ember Moon back at least. But it doesn't feel like she's the same.
Nah, she's toned it down.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, a ruptured Achilles could do that. I mean, look at Xavier. He's nowhere near as jumpy, flippity anymore.
No, he's grounded now.
It's the trauma.
Yeah, like it's in the back of your head. Like, once you sustain an injury off of something that you normally do without even thinking twice, now you're thinking, if I do it again, will the same thing happen? And it's like you totally take it out of your arsenal.
Yeah. So NXT is just riddled with the injury bug, changing storylines. Pat McAfee is the best thing going on. Pat McAfee and the NXT Kings. Man.
Yeah. If I'm hating you without even watching it, you're doing something notable.
Like, I love Pat McAfee. I watch his morning show every day on YouTube. He's so funny. Did you know that Pat's storyline was supposed to go to what's that tight end's name that went back to
Gronkowski?
Yeah. Gronk was supposed to be a full-time wrestler.
Yeah. I mean,
and this was supposed to be his role.
Title.
Yeah, this was supposed to be his role, his introductory into wrestling. This.
Really?
Yeah. But instead, he wanted to play big money by playing with Brady, with the Buccaneers, and look how that turned out.
Yep. Well, at least last Sunday.
Oh yeah. But yeah, jeez. So I'm gonna send you that Chris Van Vliet channel. Sub to that. There's a lot, dude. There's a lot of interviews that's gonna be like, whoa.
Nice.
With that said, is there anything that you wanna bring up? If not, where can people find you on the social medias?
Yeah, this episode I have no gripes. So I got nothing to touch on. You can follow me on Twitter at KevinMask808, and you can follow me on Instagram at its.just.kevin808.
All right. You guys can follow me on Twitter at YoBroMMO. You guys can follow Josh. Even though he's taking a sabbatical from the Backstage Slam and wrestling altogether, you guys can still follow him at SkitComic. And please become a Patreon supporter. I currently have 3 patrons. And go ahead and support the podcast at patreon.com/YoBroMMO. Subscribe between $3, $5, $10, and $20. I will be doing in a couple of days I'm recording a couple of K-pop reactions and watch-alongs to that, and it's gonna be locked behind the paywall, unlike the BSP, which everybody's getting for free. And I will be putting some exclusive video game stuff behind the paywall as well for you guys, as well as if you guys want to play games with me, private server, set up a gameplay, and I will share that on Patreon as well, and we can have movie nights. Yes, movie nights is a thing. Join my Discord. You can get the link off of my Twitter. I think I'm going to have Kevin post that link somewhere on his social media. Get some of his friends and followers onto the podcast family as well. And we will see you guys in a couple of days. And we talk some more New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.